Hey, what's up? It's a Fit Gear Hunter, and up for review today is part 1 of the Coros Pace 2 review specifically for CrossFit training. Obviously, we're in a little bit of a different sort of part-time space, so we'll see how this goes. A little bit of the simpler, setup in the back, but we're just going to go roll with it for now. But why is it 2 parts? Obviously, everything on this channel, Fit Gear Hunter and the fitgearhunter.com website associated with it, is for the purpose of testing devices for CrossFit training, high-intensity interval training, versus all the running, biking, and swimming reviews that are out there. And so we are looking at the Coros Pace 2 specifically for CrossFit training. And why is it in 2 parts? Because recently Coros released the Evo Labs. And the Evo Labs is an analytical aspect of your training load over time and recovery time, coupled with a bunch of running performance details. What is the problem, though, is that you have to run a boatload for any of the stats to take effect. So this review is specifically for the Coros Pace 2 from a CrossFit training perspective. If you do not do the running, if you do not activate the Evo Labs, and maybe they'll change the running requirements, but so far I've run 14 miles over the course of 7 days, but not in a row, so we'll talk about that. And it is not activated. The Evo Labs is not turned on. So therefore, there's a lot of missing stats. And so we're just going to look at what you get if you're doing it for CrossFit training and you're not activating the Evo Labs because you don't want to run at least over 14 miles. So with that, what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly with the Coros Pace 2 across like the general use as well as across the workout and training use. Good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay, and then we're going to look at it in the watch and on the app for each of those pieces as we go through. So what's the good for the general? Number 1 is the size and design and weight. It is a good size. It is a super lightweight. It is overall the screen quality is relatively bright and clear. I feel like it's got good contrast. It's not super grayed out or sort of the bluish black in the background. It is a fully functional watch. I like that you can add multiple alarms. It has a compass built in, so you can actually get the simple sort of like Phoenix X-esque use of a compass. And it's just a fully functional watch. You get all your notifications, all of those basic things. It has all the capabilities of a basic watch that you'd want outside of the fitness and workout world. And then on top of it, the battery life is crazy. So you can't adjust the brightness, so it's just got standard brightness. I'm getting about 11 and a half days of battery life with GPS activity involved in there for obviously 14 miles of running. Additionally, the price is only $200. So we're going to have to actually look at if it has enough capabilities, if you don't run a whole bunch, to activate the Evo Labs to see if it's worth $200. So that is a huge question. But overall, great things all around. What are the good for the workouts? And then we'll look at these things on the watch and then on the app. The training effect, it gives you training effect stats for each of the workouts. It'll give you aerobic and anaerobic. I really like the sort of ratio when you're doing CrossFit and you're doing intervals, how it gives you a little bit better credit on the anaerobic load versus the aerobic load versus what I've seen on Garmin. If you are a runner, one side note is that this has running power at the wrist or on the watch for $200, which is actually really good. It does a great job at analyzing your heart rate zones, so showing you what range you're in. It does good workout data on the app, and you can see a bunch of stats if you're a runner, but it just gives you at least the good backbone of stats if you're doing CrossFit. You can see an easy glance of your records if you are a runner, but one of the things that's great about it is it connects to Ant Plus devices as well as Bluetooth devices. So with that, that's the good in general and in the workouts. Let's look at how it looks on the watch itself, the good, and the app itself, the good. One thing I forgot to mention on the good is in the workout data. You can easily adjust the workout data to be able to incorporate whatever stats you want to see, and there's a lot of great useful aspects of stats that they have available. So the workout data on each of the profiles is great, and how you customize it, we'll see that. Okay, so let's look at the general things that are just functionally helpful about it. So obviously it's got a good overall screen. The screen clarity on the watch is pretty clear. You can scroll through. I don't hate the scrolling mechanism. It's got a nice locking feature. These are all the widgets. So if you look at the widgets, that come with it. There's the running performance. We'll talk about that. The fatigue. These are all based on the Evo Labs, and they activate once you've done a certain amount of running. This is a summary of the day, which is decent. It's fine. Your heart rate graph over time, and you can click the button and scroll over the course of, a lot of time. Why it's, because I haven't worn the watch, duh. Elevation, barometric pressure, if this was of any use. So there's the basic functional aspects. We got the heart rate monitor on the back. It is 42 millimeters wide, super light at just like, I think 40 grams. I can't remember, but it's super light. One of the sort of oddball things, you hold this down, you get the menu, you have a bunch of the different functional things. Like, I like the fact you can set multiple alarms and it'll, give you that capability. So again, back here, one of the things that's a little bit unique to this is you have a compass, which is, usually just not available on all watches, and then on this discount price watch, and its fact is $109. So what's good about the workouts? When you go into a workout, one of the things that I like the best is, let's just say, we'll look at it on the app itself, but you have to go into gym cardio. That's the most basic thing you can use if you want to test the device for CrossFit or just use it. It's just simply gym cardio because it's turning off the things. When you go into the workout, you just have a lot of great, go ahead and start. You have a lot of great screens, so you can set all these things or show it in the app, but you have a lot of great stats you can set, and it's super easy in the app to do so. So you you can check your rounds for time by actually hitting this bottom right button, which is a great functional piece that not all the watches offer, so that you can, here you can have your last lap time, your current lap time, and the number of laps if you're counting rounds for Murph or doing things like that, but that is super helpful. So we're just gonna see if we can just, I guess we have to, no, we're not gonna save that. So, functional things there. So if you look at the history, this is what you see. So this is the workout this is the CrossFit workout. You just see your heart rate, your average heart rate, a picture of the graph, and the calories, workout time. So nothing super in-depth there, but the fact that you get the aerobic and anaerobic, let's look at actually some of the things on the app itself to look at the good aspects of the work. Okay, so what do we see about the app? The first thing is just, it is relatively simple. I'm going to talk about this as a good and then talk about this as a bad. But it's relatively simple. You get these primary categories. If you look down at the bottom, there's like rows of icons of information. And the first row over is your workout history and records. The next row over, the shield, is the Evo Labs, and you can see that it's not yet activated. And at the bottom here, you get a bunch of different details and aspects about your, records and training plans. And then the watch is the next line over, and you can see a bunch of, data-specific things. So in general aspects, the app is simple and streamlined enough that it is useful and good there. So what are the workout-based good aspects on the app itself? So the first thing is what you get on the workout analytics. So this is a CrossFit workout. I had just to use the gym cardio sport profile because there's not really one that associates it otherwise. And you can see in the middle right, it's got training load now. Now this is going to give you training load, although it doesn't functionally go anywhere because Evo Labs is not activated because I haven't run enough. But you can at least see the training load, and it gives you a medium category for how hard you worked. But it's got a really nice looking heart rate graph. You got the workout fields, but this is probably the most important aspect, the training effect at the bottom. So the aerobic impact on your training and fitness development, and the anaerobic. And I feel like it's a little bit more accurate in the ratio of aerobic to anaerobic. This was a 6 different rounds, but where you just did sort of sprints for a period of time. And I like that it gave me a higher anaerobic score. So the fact that you can see all of these basic things, it's a good summary, and it's got good workout exertion analytics built into it. Other than that, this, you can't really see anything. Again, like I said on the, you have a muscle heat map, super cool stuff. This would be great if it was useful, but as I did, and I did a review for the Coros strength profile, you can put in your workout, you can type it all in, and it'll show you what workouts you did. But if you do a strength workout and you type in all the
reps you did and all the activities, it actually will not give you training effect. So they haven't combined it enough to make it anywhere useful. So that's not helpful. It does have a good accuracy, like if you're a runner, good list of your records, that's useful. And then the other really good thing is the workout data. So you can pick each profile and you can change the workout data. So like the gym cardio, I really like that, with this particular one, I can do my last lap and the current lap and then the workout time. That's really useful. And like even, like if I look and you can just change it and it just adds it to the profiles and it just makes it so much better. So even if I want to go in and change this, which I actually do want to change this, maybe to a 6 field, I want you see all this, like the amount of information. I want that to be heart rate. I want, like my total time. I want the total distance in here. And the pace is a useful one. And let's just put laps in there for fun. But I actually love that the clock is down below. Or that's the workout time. My bad. So let's put the clock down below. Well, it's in there somewhere. We're not going to mess with it now, but for now, we're just going to make that adjustment. But the fact you can adjust all the workout is super good and useful. Firmware updates are really helpful, and the watch faces are actually really good. You can load 5 of them to be on the quick draw. They don't look as vivid and colorful, but the fact that they have so many is really useful, and they actually look pretty decently on the watch, as we saw in the hands-on. That's it for now.
Okay, so what are the bad in general and the bad in the workouts themselves? What are the bad aspects? Number one on the bad and just the general column is the widgets that you get when you're just scrolling through the basic watch, the basic sort of quick info are relatively worthless. There's 1 or 2 good ones, and the training things would be great if you could activate the Evo Lab. So a lot of the basic quick access info is Evo Lab related, and if you don't activate it, we'll look at it in a second. This is what you're going to see. But the other widgets, barometric pressure, altimeter, and heart rate. Heart rate could be useful, but I just don't ever look at a heart rate graph over the course of just a general day. So not useful there in what you can access, and you can't, at least that I'm aware of, and I haven't looked deeply into it because I just want it to either be quickly available and visible or not, to be able to turn off. I don't want to see barometric pressure on the quick access widgets. The app itself, as it is simple, I feel like it is too simple. And you notice the basic stats, you just in that main landing page, you just don't get a lot of beef there as far as other types of things you could look at. And then lastly, on the bad and in general, is that whenever you look at one of those stat pages, it flips you to a chart where you have to look at just a bunch of generic information. I want to look at everything in profile form and not in landscape form, because I think that's just, that's more useful information. And then the bad on the workout summary is missing off of the watch. So if you want to see your training effect and your aerobic and anaerobic, you do not have access to that on the watch. You have to go to the app. That's a minor thing. And then obviously one of the other minor bad things is the sport profiles. I hate that I'm seeing like a yoga person, if I'm choosing to do a non-GPS or what they call gym cardio, that it shows a yoga person. Just easy to create different profiles with other things. So that is the bad. Let's come back and look at it on the watch in the app itself.
Okay, so we're just going to quickly go through this. So one of the bad things is these useless widgets. So, the summary of the day, great. Heart rate graph, that's all right. But altitude on the regular basis, day-to-day life, not useful. Barometric pressure, day-to-day life, extra not useful. And you can't really change these things. And then temperature, like who's tracking this on their watch? I don't know. This to me seems crazy. It's not useful. These are the primary widgets. Just make it so that I can turn those off or make something functionally useful. This is one thing I forgot to mention that is a good thing, is that you actually get the sunrise, sunset, dawn, dusk, solar, noon, which is not available on many watches, like other than like the Phoenix series stuff. The other thing is when you're looking at when you get a text message, I find in just quick glancing, it's not as easy to read. The text font is just not precise enough, so it's a little bit blurry there. And then in the workouts themselves, the other bad thing about the watch when the workouts, first thing is just that you don't, you have a simple list of training profiles, not a lot. But if the only thing that we're sort of fit is the gym, because the strength profile will actually track reps and things like that, but it doesn't give you training effect. So don't use the strength. You can build a workout here, and in the workout, it'll track what, within a heat map, but it doesn't functionally actually use that information for tracking your training effect, the aerobic and anaerobic. It actually turns that analytical aspect off if you're doing strength training, so don't use that. So the only one you can use is, in some ways, is gym cardio. And if you as we saw the stats are great, but the thing that is limited about it is, like, here's the CrossFit workout. It doesn't have any of your training effect. So it shows you simple information, but on the watch itself, it doesn't have any training effect. So lack of sport profiles, lack of training effect is the bad for work.
Okay, so what is the bad when it comes to the app itself? The bad is that it is too simple in the analytics from the day. You just have calories, your exercise time, which typically all of us know that we exercised, and it gives us a little goal, but that's just not helpful. Steps, heart rate, and sleep. There's just not a lot of meat to it. Again, I do like that it gives you the workout aspects, but it just is a little bit simple. And the other thing that's really difficult, and it's going to look a little bit weird on the video, is if you hit any of these, you're forced into this like weird screen thing where you're like, it only will show you information in these big layout categories where you have to go to this flip chart only. So that is, something that's really frustrating about it, but that is probably all the bad that I would say. So let's go back to talk about the ugly. Okay, so what is ugly? What is not good about this Coros Pace 2? In the general category, nothing. I think there's nothing terrible about it. I mean, the widgets could change, but whatever. What's ugly about it is when it comes to workouts with the watch itself when doing CrossFit. So that's what we're talking about today for doing CrossFit. The heart rate accuracy is absolutely abysmal. Like 40% accurate, it's missing 60% of the workout. It's not flowing the flow of the workout. It's not tracking the workout in any aspects. I did a whole separate review on that, which you can watch, and I'll post in the description below along with, timestamps. But it is a failed. Do not use this watch. Do not buy this watch unless you're going to buy a chest strap or an armband monitor, something to pair it to via Ant Plus or Bluetooth. It's terrible. Don't do it unless you're going to go with the chest strap. The second thing, and an obvious thing, is that you don't get any of the training stats. You don't get the Evo Lab unless you go out and run a bunch of miles over the course of a number of days. And I have yet to get it activated. So, I did 1 day and then a break in between, and then 5 days and then a break and then 1 day. And I'm just going to keep running. It is making my percentage of completion go up. We'll see if it ever gets to 100% and activates the rest of the stuff. And we'll do a separate video on that. But if you're looking at this watch for CrossFit training, the ugly, ugly, ugly piece is that they took away simple analytics. It used to be that you could see your recovery time and how depleted you were from the impact of the workout at least. So you saw at least recovery time. You could see the training effect and the recovery time, and it did show training load over time. It was not useful information because it tended to look like you worked out today, you didn't work out today, you worked out. So it wasn't like an accumulation of load in my perception, in my opinion. And you had a fitness index. Those things don't exist anymore. And so think about that. The basic analytics for your training load, your fitness index, your recovery time, workout to workout, and your depletion, like how it sort of crushed your body, none of that exists unless you run for at least over 14 miles over the course of 7 days. None of it exists. You can't access any of it. So if it doesn't exist, then all this watch is giving you is the training effect of the workout itself and no other stats. Therefore, it's not helpful for a true training plan. And then the last thing that's ugly, and these are three primary major ugly things about this watch, is the sleep analytics. We'll look at it in a second, but the sleep analytics are terrible. They're completely blurry. As far as, you can get the stats, they're completely off, testing it against Polar and Garmin's Fenix 6, so like the first beat analytic, sleep analytics, as well as Polar's analytics. None of the stats have been anywhere close to the same as far as the accumulation of time in each deep light REM. It's just not useful. So it's not useful for sleep. So in basic wellness and recovery, you're not getting any of the deeper training analytics, and you're not getting any recovery aspects whatsoever, because the sleep's not even worthwhile. So it is only a watch. So with that, let's look at some of these things and how it looks on the watch itself, and then we'll come back together for a summary.
And now for the ugly. So the ugly, as we said, the heart rate sensor, total fail. Not built for CrossFit training. And then the other obvious fail is the fact that if you're not running, this is what you're going to see every day, all day long. I mean, I don't need the running performance. That's not helpful to me either way. But fatigue and recovery, these sound like great vehicles. Fatigue is just your overall load over time, and recovery is how much time you need, is my assumption, but can't see it. And then obviously we're going to have to look at the app to see the other aspects of sleep and the failure there. But the fact that you can't get these things to activate. And then the other thing I'll just show you quickly is here, it used to be there was something called AI Trainer. And in the AI Trainer, it was actually attached to your history. And when you pushed AI Trainer, you would scroll down and see history, but you would also see like a little bar graph of where you're at depletion wise. So like 100% down to 15% because of the workout. And in the middle, it would say a recovery time, like 1.5 days. So you'd be like 15%, and you could watch that go up. Every time you went into AI Trainer, you'd watch it go up and replenish your battery level, as well as watch the recovery time go down. And I mean, they were probably 1-to-1 ratio, but you don't get any of that because you haven't activated Evo Labs. So that's what's missing on the watch, and that is what's ugly about it so far. Let's look at the... Okay, so what is ugly? We've talked about the, overly simple. It's, it's kind of bad, but it's kind of good too, the overly simple. But what is ugly? If you go to the shield icon, this is your Evo Lab. And the Evo Lab is going to be super awesome. And read the title at the top, the Revamped Sports Science Platform. And it sounds great, and you can read about it. But you see in the middle there, it says, please run flat terrain with run or track mode for at least 7 days. Well, I've done 7 days. Now, obviously, I'm only at 66%. I haven't done it 7 days in a row. It doesn't tell you what you have to do to activate it. It doesn't say you need to have 25 miles in 7 days. And then you could say, okay, well, can I do 25 miles in 7 days? And so if you were just getting this watch for CrossFit, you're not a runner, you can see nothing is here. Evo Lab, it goes into this force in this reverse thing. Your VO2 max is not here. You don't have anything in here because it's not activated. All you get is this percentage of completion. So if you do not run, and I don't even know how much you're supposed to run. I don't know if it's 7 days, like a week, like they're, you run 7 days in a row, or if it's just run 7 days. Well, I've done 7 separate running workouts on 7 separate days, and it's still not activated. So therefore, it's either I need to do it closer together, or I'm not running a high enough distance. And so we'll see what happens in the next video. But if you're reviewing it now, this is ugly. And the only other ugly thing, and this is a major ugly, is the sleep. So we're going to have to go turn it sideways. But I didn't use it for very long because it's useless. Like, this is what sleep looks like. Sleep looks like this, where it's giving you deep, look, 2 hours and 47 minutes of deep sleep is just, that's not accurate. These stats didn't look right with any of the Garmin Fenix 6, which uses First Beat, and the Polar Vantage V2, which uses their own, specialty stuff. But it doesn't even look very visible. And if you go, here you could see some basic data on the sleep on the main page, but it's just not helpful. It's just a fail. And so this watch, just doesn't have wellness aspects, especially if you're not running, because you can't even see your recovery time. So just failing on the actual training aspects and the sleep and recovery aspects. Let's come back and talk about it.
Okay, in summary, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and what I think. The good: design, battery life, fully functional as a watch. You can connect to Ant Plus, Bluetooth, and the price is crazy. Battery life. Within workouts, the fact that it gives you training effect, aerobic and anaerobic, and the fact that you can customize what data you can quickly see throughout the workout on the screen of the watch is great. The bad side, the widgets are too easy. I actually had a hard time reading the text messages because the text font is not precisely as clear. The app felt too simple, and the fact you have to get those flip charts to see any basic information did not feel functionally as useful. On the workout side, the profiles, just missing sport profiles, and the fact that you can't see the workout stats, the training effect, aerobic and anaerobic, on the watch itself. You have to go into the app is a bad thing. And then the ugly. The ugly heart rate accuracy, if you're doing CrossFit and just wearing the watch, not pairing it to a chest strap, is terrible. 40% accurate, 60% failed. There's no load, obviously, in the Evo Lab missing. If you do not run a bunch and you don't activate the Evo Labs, you actually don't get any training and recovery aspects. So it's basically like it doesn't exist. So what does this watch do? And then the sleep, and then we'll talk about the sleep is just terrible. So in summary, this is not a watch I would recommend at all for CrossFit training if you were not going to run enough to activate Evo Labs. And then the jury is still out as to whether the Evo Labs adds a whole bunch into it, but I'm going to just assume out of the gate that it's going to add something of value to make it more of a well-rounded watch for CrossFit. But if you're not going to run, let's just say 20 miles over the course of a week or two, then don't get the watch. It is basically like a functional watch that will give you simple, but maybe a hair in-depth workout exertion stats in that training effect, but doesn't do anything for load, for recovery, and it doesn't capture sleep at all. So there are better watches other than the Coros Pace 2 if you're not going to do the run to activate the Evo Labs. And with that, the Fit Gear Hunter, stay tuned for part 2 if I can ever run enough to activate it all. I'm really looking forward to trying to test the Suunto 9 Peak and get my hands on one of those in the future, as well as some of the watches that have still yet to be tested. So with that, Fit Gear Hunter, thanks so much for watching.